chat. Let's fucking go! Let's go. Let's go. I think I actually have to do rough drafts, because I always end up doing shit like this where after I do the lines, I do the rough draft, and then I like adjust shit. So maybe I should just be doing the rough draft in the first place. But it's just like, whenever I actually draw the rough draft, I always like, wait, the rough draft was wrong too. You know? So I'm just like, what's the fucking point if I have to redraw it, even if I do a rough draft? I might as well just draw it first and then do the correction phase separate. Ball stream on my birthday I wasn't expecting. It's every other day. Unless it isn't. That's just how it is. Sometimes it isn't every other day, but I try to stream every other day. So this is according to schedule. If your birthday is on the every other day schedule, then you'll get it. If it's not, you won't get it. It's that simple. You know what? In retrospect, I didn't even like birthdays as a kid. Because you know what? I didn't like people, and like, I didn't know that yet, because we hadn't really figured out what Asperger's was. But, in reality, I didn't actually like having a fucking birthday, because then I would have to spend all this time with all these other kids and shit. I remember there was one time when I was like, I don't know, 7 or 8 or some shit like that. And my mother, who is a super active human being, would always like properly get a bunch of kids to show up. Because, you know, organizing birthdays isn't something you do, it's your parents do. So if your parents are super active, that means you get a very active birthday party. And I got so stressed out by having like all these kids that I didn't even really, I only like half knew around me. Like I fucking ran away and cried and hide and shit like that. So if you needed any advance warning of the autism, it was already there for sure. The tism is strong in this one, my friend. What is blazing? When will this drop on YouTube? It will drop on YouTube. Well, okay, so we're on chapter 31 out of 46. I said I was going to start going harder now. See, the truth is that we're not actually... It's kind of hard to schedule this shit because I don't actually have a deadline. And any professional mangaka will tell you that if you don't give a mangaka a deadline, they ain't going to do shit. So, obviously, it gets fucking delayed. And I don't even know what my maximum speed is yet. So, I don't know. Also, it won't be dropping on YouTube until Solus finishes the dub. And apparently he hasn't gotten all the voice actors yet. He hasn't given me a thumbs up on that yet recently. So, and I was like, you're definitely going to finish the dub before I finish drawing this. But I'm not even 100% sure about that now. So, there's a whole second thing that has to do. So the answer is, I don't know. However, I will get back to... you know, posting things besides this manga. You're not at full power. I haven't been at full power, yes. You notice the synth wave in the background? Recently, I started listening to electronic dance music when I was at the gym. Up until now, I had been doing stuff like reading internet novels and listening to podcasts and stuff. But recently it's been hot, so I've run out of chapters for novels to read. And I was like, well, I guess there's nothing for me to do except listen to music. I'm not a huge music fan, you know. But I guess I have to listen to music, so let's listen to like a proper workout mix. Let's listen to workout electronica. And I realized I was going like, you know, 70% harder than usual, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. This is why everybody listens to their fucking, let's fucking go, pump it up workout mix, right? I should actually probably listen to music more often. And then I was like, wait, if I'm gonna go harder when I'm working out, shouldn't I be listening to like the deep focus music when I'm drawing, which is like my primary occupation, instead of half distracting myself all the time? So up until now I had tried that once or twice, but I was like, this is too mentally taxing. I don't want to do this. I want to be somewhat distracted. This is going to take so much time. But, you know, you can only get to be, you know, half-assing it for so long if you actually want to make it, right? I think it's time for me to truly bite the bullet and do the painful part. Just like go raw dog actual focus mode and just fucking jam my cock into the you know, the vacuum cleaner. Did you bust moves between workouts? I mean, I do like high stepping stuff. That's basically busting a move. Video game chill OST mix. Vivi only has half the vices of a typical mangaka. True. Other mangaka are busy because they have to play pachinko. They have to go to the soap land. They have to, you know, socialize with people. Go to idol concerts like Togashi. The only person that apparently has no vices except drawing manga currently alive is Oda, and he has like gout and stuff because of that. And look what happens. There's a million characters in every single one of his panels. That's a mangaka at full power, in which the only thing he's doing is drawing manga, and then as a result, every single panel is completely full all the time. Rest in peace, Muta. Yeah, also Tizka was like that as well, and he died very quickly because of, he died in his 60s because of that. So, you know, it do be like that. Is she pregnant? No. Muta had a decent run because he nap maxed. He did not have a decent run. He died before he could finish his magnum opus. And he also died when he was like, what, 50? That's not a decent run. I don't care what you say. We can have a better run than that. Let's hold ourselves to slightly higher standards than that in terms of not dying. This is a rom-com, people. Nobody's getting pregnant anytime soon. Are you kidding me? It's a parody of the Japanese rom-com, so things are going to happen slightly more than an actual rom-com. This is still the genre in which Rental Girlfriend has gone 600 chapters, and they're still doing will he or won't he, I kind of like you but maybe not now kind of bullshit, so... Gran Turismo 4 music? Yeah, this is a Gran Turismo playlist. I haven't touched Gran Turismo since PS2. I only like when Gran Turismo was single player. I don't want to have to play Gran Turismo Sport and then go online and then be reminded of what a bad driver I am compared to all these, you know, sweaties. I just wanted to look at the car porn and listen to jazz music and not be part of an online ecosystem. I'm about to play some Assetto Corsa instead of drawing my vice. People say I didn't have any vices, but my AI porn generation since the previous stream currently has 3,879 files in it. So yeah, but I'm finally getting over it because I feel like I've reached the limits of the various things I can do with text-based generation. There's only about like 3 or 4 sex positions that you can do if you want to generate porn, if you're just doing it with text, because there's a lot of like in-between sex positions that like that haven't been properly named, and it doesn't have like a full library of all the Karma Sutra sex positions, so it's pretty limited. I need image to image. What site do you use? I'm not telling any of you guys because it's gonna get shut down if it becomes too popular. I'm trying to milk this site for as long as possible until it gets shut down because I actually plan to use it for reference image generation. I was like, wait, I can use this for manga reference image generation. This is basically just like the fucking internet. It's doing the same thing I was doing with online shit. So if I say I need a image of Fantasy City with like a cathedral dome in the background, like it gives me this kind of, you know, fucking AI blurry ass slop where there's no straight lines ever, but it gives you like a general feeling of like the composition and the type of like art assets I need to jam into it, and it's doing the exact same thing that I do online, which is it's just going to like photos of the St. Peter's Cathedral of Rome and stuff and just like jamming it into one of these like German cities and stuff like that, and then like the, you know, the standard cloud cover and shit. But like this is exactly the type of stuff I'm already doing just using Google image search, but I have to like do the combination of shit in my mind. Obviously this is really bad perspective. This cathedral would be, you know, 500 meters tall and stuff, but so I'm like, wait, I can fucking use this. This is like actually helpful. So I'm not going to tell you guys which site I'm using because I don't want it to get overcrowded. I already have to wait in queues already, so you literally just have to Google image search or Google search AI image generation, and it's going to pop up sooner or later, so you haven't looked hard enough. Is it not a paid one? It's unpaid. It's unpaid and uncensored. Hence why I'm pretty confident it's gonna get shut down anytime soon. Because, like, how the fuck are they gonna maintain this shit with, like, thousands of people just, like, slamming its servers? People like me generating 3,000 images of porn, except it's, like, 6 times that amount. because those are only the images that were good enough for me to save. So I probably used the total electricity of like a small city at this point in the past like 3 days just to generate subpar AI porn. How the hell any AI will maintain itself? Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, but how the hell is this website going to maintain itself? It's not asking for subscription or anything like that. I mean, I think where the technology is like already good enough that it can maintain itself. It's just that they keep on spending way more and more money because they want it to become more and more powerful so they can create like a Netflix style monopoly. I think that's the plan. But like, you know, what was it? DeepSeek showed that you can have the same result on much cheaper low energy models and stuff like that. So I think it will. I think the technology will be like still around and be doing fine itself, but I just don't think that these corporations that have received billions of dollars in investment are okay with that level of like, you know, usage. They want it to be like in every single element of your life at all times, and we're not there yet technology-wise, so they're not okay with that. Good odds it leeches off existing model on somebody else's pocket. I mean, I'm sure it's an existing model, but the question is who's paying for the electricity and server costs and stuff. Not that I give a fuck, as long as it's still available to me. They built all the servers next to oil mines for them cheap volt, but it still eats all the volt and creates none of the value. But think of all the value it will be creating in the future. Don't you understand? We need to spend money now. And then at some point, it's literally that comic where they're like, do this thing, question, profit. You know? And we're in the sort of question phase. Invest in AI. Tell all the investors it will be the next thing. Question, profit. Profit at some point, guys. It is definitely the most impressive piece of technology that I've used that is also like completely worthless. There's very few pieces of technology I've used that's like, this is amazing. It's an amazing piece of technology, but nobody actually needs to use it. It reminds me of the Segway. I've said this before, but the Segway is really impressive. It can like spin in circles. It can move quickly. You know, it has a lot of advantages, except there's a lot of other things that have the same advantages as a Segway, like being able to run, you know, on your own legs. Or using a bicycle, or using a horse or something. So nobody actually wants to use a fucking Segway unless they're trapped in a mall. The question part is learning AI's only real use is shitting out cheap assets quickly. The question part is companies convincing themselves that now that they have AI, they can fire all their workers that were producing stuff. And then there will be a brief period in which corporate profits go up because they fired all their workers. And they're like, see, AI, it's working, everything's cheaper. And then all the customers are like, this is really bad. Like what happened with Duolingo. We're gonna stop giving you money and go to a corporation that isn't using AI. And then they're like, wait, I thought we were supposed to be making money. And then they have a fucking problem. Time to fire all the artists. On the other hand, when people are mourning AI taking artists' jobs, and they're like, artists are already being fired. It's over. What they're usually talking about when they say artist, what they usually mean is marketing artists, like people who make the fucking corporate slop Memphis art style for, like, you know, graphics and presentations or commercials and shit like that. And my counterpoint is artists aren't getting fired because those people were never artists in the first place. They were people who whose job was to create an image, any image, and they could have been easily replaced even before AI. With in Japan, there's I forgot what it's called. Irastoya. Do you guys know Irastoya? Even if you don't know what I'm talking about, you've definitely seen it before. I wonder if it's an English word at this point. Irasutoya. There we go. This thing. What a fucking relevant image Irastoya has. This isn't AI, by the way. This is a great image of AI. This isn't AI. This is just one guy in his fucking studio shitting out like 500 relevant images per day, and you can use it for free. And before Irastoya came along in Japan, there was all these other, like, you know, PowerPoint presentation graphics that people would pay for. And this guy just came out and he fucking mogged everybody in the amount of efficiency he has and his ability to, like, produce shit like this at a breakneck speed every single day. I like the Twitter fired Irastoya here. And then he basically put everybody else out of business. So that's just so Japanese, by the way. Just like fucking manually doing it before America. Yeah, it's Corpo Art America, Corpo Art Japan. Suddenly it seems extremely soulful. Like, suggest something that you want to find Irastoya images of. If it's any kind of major topic, like, I bet you can find it. Like, we can actually go to his website and just straight up. I think you can just straight up. I've never actually used it. Christ, he has an entire One Piece section. He even has classic Robin at her peak. So this, he actually has permission from the publishing company for a free-to-use version of One Piece characters. And he's asking you, please don't use this image in a way that is, you know, is detrimental to the original source material. But you can just straight up use free IP. So let's search for something. What should we search for, guys? That's the solution to AI. Artists just draw everything. Futa feet. Alright, let's do Gyaru. Let's see what versions of Gyaru he has. Oh shit, look at the variety. He has the horrifying Ganguro Gyaru. He has the reverse peace Gyaru. This is the traditional Gyaru. He doesn't have Joshikose Gyaru. What about foot fetish? Ashi Fechi. Oh no. No foot fetish. No fetish. Ashi. Well, he definitely has foot images. Oh, this is supposed to be foot, rock, paper, scissors. Rock, scissors, paper, I guess. Oh shit, he has an image for, what do you call that? The foot warts that you have to use, that you have to like freeze and peel off. Have you seen those videos? Like, I see blackhead removal videos, so I get the same sort of recommendations. But if you want to see something truly fucked up, you should check out the foot thing getting peeled off. Yeah, they're, what's the English? What are they called? I forgot. But they're just like these, like, hard parts. But the way they remove it is what's, fucked up. Is that they, like, freeze it and they just, like, straight up dig it out. They're not calluses. It's something else. It's not, I mean, they look disgusting on their own, but they're not actually that disgusting in their normal format. What you have to watch is the removal videos if you want to get the full experience. Yeah, I guess they're warts. I think they are warts, yeah. Wart removal, guys. So sexy. Yeah, they use aerosol freeze, and then they just sort of like straight up dig them out of the guy's foot. It's just like, what the fuck? They just removed like 30% of the guy's foot. What the fuck? But apparently it's okay. I don't know. It seems extremely fucked up. Yeah, it's frozen off, yeah. Apparently it's not painful. I don't know. Shit is horrifying. You watch one of those and YouTube floods you with those vids, it actually doesn't. There's something in their internal recommendations in which they don't show up in the recommendations. I know because I watch blackhead extraction videos pretty frequently, and it never gets in my recommendations. They understand that they're like, we don't want you to be watching this and you should feel bad about watching this, please stop. And it's like, no, I'm not going to stop, even if you don't recommend blackhead removal. I'm still going to go and search it out myself and find them. It's one of those things where YouTube is just like, you're on your own, man. You're going to have to find those videos on your own. I'm like, challenge accepted. The skin is perfectly fine underneath, just dented. Warts are like super thick, dead skin. It's really fucked up just looking at it. It looks like they remove like half the guy's foot. It's just like, what the fuck? How can he be okay? Wowzer's new brush. This is the charcoal brush. So look at this panel. Can you actually tell which brushes I'm using for what parts? It's kind of hard to tell, right? But I've noticed that using the charcoal, it helped me draw a lot of stuff. I'm not sure why. It's something about the nature of it. But you can only tell which brush I use when you zoom up. See, these lines are the charcoal. But zoomed out, you can't really tell. It's something about the charcoal that especially when I draw hands, I go to the charcoal. Why does it come up when I search for something unrelated 90% of the time? I don't know. I've never gotten one of these body horror videos, despite my interest in body horror in my recommended videos ever. So you might be getting a different search algorithm than I am, but I've never got them. See, the charcoal brush, you can't really make it sharp, the line sharp in any way. Like, this is a brush, this is a pen that I created just to make sharp lines. sharp, long lines. So it's basically like the opposite of that. Like these lines here, these are like what I do with the long, sharp pen. But it's like I get too obsessed with making these crisp, sharp lines that when I'm trying to draw something difficult, it just kind of fucks with my brain. So I think using the charcoal brush, I don't know, it just feels really secure in a weird way. I'm gonna keep on exploring this. I think it's a good fit with like fantasy art styles. We'll see if I keep on using it a lot in the future, but I think it's pretty good. I get earwax cleaning videos with fungus growing. I watch lore videos mainly. YouTube is weird. Wow, that really is weird. I have yet to get a single body horror video recommended to me. I'm not sure why. Maybe there's like some settings that we don't know about. Maybe I need to turn something off to make sure I get the various pimple popping videos I desire. My current YouTube recommendations is just a lot of horse stuff and Otani Shohei stuff. Otani Shohei because Japan is like, you have to watch Otani. And I'm like, okay, I guess if people are saying if he's actually the GOAT, I should pay attention to him. I paid attention to LeBron when he was doing GOAT type stuff, so I guess I should pay attention to Otani. And horses because we had Uma Musume, so then I went down an Uma Musume actual horse rabbit hole. All these gold ship videos. What kind of lines do I want here? Underneath a wart is usually perfectly healthy skin, just 1 or 2 millimeters pushed in. I think what you're saying, it's fucking 2 millimeters of dead skin that they're fucking popping off. It's fucking insane. How horrifying. Do your skincare routine, guys? I don't think the foot warts have anything to do with your skincare routine. Maybe they do, but I think they're like some sort of genetic thing. Warts on penis, ribbed for her pleasure, if you know what I mean. I always liked it when in my hentai an orc would have like the penis with like all these bumps and warts on it. For like further aggressive penis action. I was like, yeah, I'm sure that anti-demon ninja is gonna appreciate that orc penis even more. I have no interest in Uma Musume, but the actual gold ship horse is super interesting. There's all these YouTube videos of it extremely being self-aware. Gold ship being self-aware that he's a rock star, and he'll do stuff like pose for cameras, and he'll wait for people to take photos of him. If he sees that there's like people showing up looking at him, he'll go and like run around to show off and stuff. It's pretty obvious he knew what people were saying and how they were responding to him to some degree. Like, when his jockey, like, the day of one of the biggest races, his jockey, like, begged him to run fast, so that he actually did run fast, and then he would win. Orcers must have bumpy dicks as tradition. Yeah, we don't have to stop at bumps. We can just have it, like, massive amounts of ribs. Just like super bumpy, super textured. I will say that I complain a lot about AI image prompting and its limitations, but if you typed into your text prompt that the orc penis should be ribbed, it will definitely do that. So, to talk about AI text prompts that work 100% of the time without any fuck-ups, nipple piercings. Nipple piercings always work. If I type in big boobies with exposed erect nipples with nipple piercings, if I add with nipple piercings, it will always give the nipple piercings. No problem with that. If I say that the orc penis should be ribbed, no problem with that. Those things it can generate consistently. What it has difficulty with is body positions, which is always a problem if you want to do a sex scene. So just getting a character to face the other way from the camera after you give the informations into the text prompt is extremely difficult, because it's like you tell the AI something and it's like a baby. It doesn't have object permanence, or it's like the opposite. It has too much object permanence. If you tell it something, it can't comprehend that when the character is looking the opposite way, you can't see its face. So then you'll get like these horrible abominations where there'll be like an ass and then the character will be like facing back at the camera at the same time, like, you know, twisted 90 degrees. That and having semen not look like shit. I've tried typing sticky white semen. Putting sticky into the depictor usually helps a lot. You just need to use the right vocabulary most of the time. What if you type doggy style, it'll come up with Snoop Dogg. So the 4 body positions I've been able to get it to do consistently are full Nelson, doggy style on the ground, although even that has a lot of difficulty. Actually, it's like 3 positions. And like the third one is having the female character bent over something. Typing in somebody is bent over like a table or a barrel or something will give you like pretty consistent body posture. If you try and be like she's bending over in general, just like bending over with her hands on her knees, then it can often get pretty dicey. Blowjobs have been pretty inconsistent. Also, I've noticed that if you're using the artist Laura or the artist name for something in that genre that has a lot of art references, it'll work way better. So I was basically using a American comic or a French-Belgian comic book setting. This website has a bunch of things you can choose from. So you can choose like different comic book settings. So I put like French comic books. And then I was basically generating Lara Croft in a jungle, which is something that it probably has a lot of references for, like military tactical gear, women in tank tops, that type of stuff. And when it has a lot of reference images, it goes way more smoother. It's basically just the internet, the more I think about it. AI prompting is just a form of internet search. So it truly cannot create something that it doesn't have a photo sitting around in the billion of images on the internet for. So it's never going to create anything new. And it's not even going to create something that already exists if it doesn't have at least like 500 images of that thing, so. You're pretty limited. The blowjobs are awful. I mean, compared to other things, they're not that bad. You know what's the worst thing that AI is bad at? Action scenes. If you want to see how fucking limited AI is and how people are like, oh, mangaka should use AI as a support system, I'm like, no. Because pretty much at some point, manga requires you to draw movement. Like, you know, just this panel. The thing that AI is the worst at is generating, like, action scenes. It is the absolutely just fucking pathetic when it comes to action. So here, let's see what I can do. Let's make like a cool Baki style, you know, combat image. Let's say muscular, tall Mexican boxer. Punching a punching an ostrich. High speed fight. Impact. AI can't even do basic walking right. It can't even do like two characters standing next to each other right. Blowjobs have been pretty inconsistent. Sounds like you're talking to your clumsy Hime-cut wife. I've been having a lot of difficulty getting point of view. But inconsistent is a good thing because it means that sometimes it's good. There are some things that it's 100% consistent in when it can't do it. Here's one image. It's hallucinating that there's multiple people here. It can't figure out there's one boxer and one ostrich. Okay, so here's a relatively successful image where it isn't hallucinating. So you could say this is a relative success, but notice how there's like no impact. The punches aren't meeting each other. Like, this is a success in that it isn't just like a complete horrid body morphing abomination, but it still can't actually do like any kind of relationship, spatial relationship between the creatures here, right? Like, here's another good example. What it will usually do is just like put the character in one location, put another character in another location, completely just ignoring that they're like, you know, the spatial relationship between the two. And obviously the fact that it has to do this makes sex scenes very hard. Because, you know, sex is basically a form of martial arts. Baki taught me that. So yeah, it can't really do sex very well. Tentacles are actually pretty decent because, you know, tentacles doesn't have an anatomy. How in one panel you have outline of start and end of movement. Yeah, so that's what I basically wanted to get to, is because in manga you create movement by having the understanding of consecutive panels. And sometimes you have movement in just one panel, but either way, the movement in manga is created by the act of reading and having the reader's eye move from panel to panel. And that's the number one, what makes it different from American comics, right? And no matter how advanced AI will be, it will never be able to create the sensation of having movement as you read the pages, because by definition, it's not connected from one image to another. So AI will never, ever, ever be able to do action scenes, and considering shonen is the largest genre of AI or of manga, that basically means it will be forever worthless if you can't draw in the first place. So ultimately, yeah, AI is kind of worthless. Sag. It's not even good for porn. It's good for like still life porn. If all you want to see is big boobies, which I do. then it's doing a good job there. As a sex haver, it's true. Yes, Baki said that Baki can only become strong after having sex. I remember there was like an entire like special volume of Baki having sex with his girlfriend for the first time. The girlfriend nobody cares about. And then like Yujiro shows up at Baki's house after he has sex being like, Baki has finally lost, my son has finally lost his virginity. Now he will become stronger or some shit like that. It was an extremely awkward father moment. It made me wonder if Itagaki has had sex at all. I know he has like 5 daughters or something, but it's possible that Itagaki never had sex and they were just like conceived magically. It's not even good for porn. The tone which you said it with is extremely honest. Actually, that's unfair to AI. That's just the AI prompter that I'm using. Because I have a shit ton of AI porn which is extremely high quality. And those people are using tools that I don't have. I think they're using a combination of image to image and then in painting. Neither of which I have access to if I'm doing it server side. So if I want to really get into the AI prompting lifestyle, I would have to, you know, have my own software on my computer and like do a bunch of in-painting and stuff like that. The Japanese AI prompter pornsmiths are extremely dedicated to their craft, and I shouldn't insult them like that. In fact, I haven't seen anything porn-wise that the AI prompters haven't been able to create consistently yet. But I don't have access to that level of tools, so... His daughter made Beastars, right? Yeah, he has like 3 daughters, I believe. I thought he would go by son never loses or something with the losing of his virginity. It doesn't work like that in Japanese because we don't use the word lose virginity. The verb they use in accordance with virginity, male virginity, is graduate. So they don't think of it the same way. You can lose your female virginity, but there's a different word for male virginity. It's dote sotugyo versus shoujo soshitsu. You lose your female virginity, but you graduate from your male virginity. As usual, Japanese is a more advanced language than English when it comes to these types of things. They always seem to have, like, more complex ways of talking about things. You know Japanese is a more complex language than English is when English doesn't even have separate words for older sister and younger sister. What a fucking normie mid language English is. Imagine not having different words for Oni-chan and One-chan. How will I just make a distinction between my different types of incest porn? We need a GoFundMe for BB to get access to the Japanese government's secret AI. I wonder what they're using. I think they're using novel AI primarily. But yeah, there's a lot of Japanese AI professional prompters who I don't see basically any kind of real AI deformation in their prompts, and they do a lot of different styles. They can do a lot of different sex positions and stuff, so no action scenes, of course. I follow a AI prompter who likes prompting scenes of various characters defeating and losing, but he tries to do some Ryona scenes every once in a while, like stomach punch content, and it's very disappointing. The stomach punching is definitely not very good. So yeah, we'll never be able to do action scenes. I think we can be confident of that part. I can really be a bitch in English. I have two older brothers, so I have to describe one of them as my younger older brother, which can be either an older or younger brother. Yeah. English is like a caveman's language. We have so many words that don't exist in English. I mean, every language has the ability to take in words from other languages, but Japanese does it like super willingly, which is part of the reason why Japanese is so fluid and it's so good at like specific things, like creative writing and stuff like that. Japanese is definitely, as someone who can speak it fluently, I can say that Japanese is definitely a more expressive language. But it's not a good language for like STEM shit, science stuff. It's really bad for science stuff. God damn it. It's supposed to like thunderstorm soon, but it's not actually, so the humidity has just gone super high right now in my room and this just general area. And I want it to fucking rain so the temperature will go down, but it's not. It's just like getting even more hot and humid. It's like 90 degrees right now. Suck my balls, god damn it. German still reigns supreme linguistic-wise. Yeah, probably. Or Latin. I mean, there's a reason why we use Latin for all our animal names and stuff, right? I can only imagine the nerd-outs Japanese scientists would have had in the past when new elements and molecules have been discovered. Yeah, I don't know how that works. There was a brief period in Japan where, like, it was under Imperial Japan, so they were trying not to use Western words as much as possible. And obviously that stopped after they fucking lost the war, so I don't know how they judge that shit. Oh. What I've heard is to sound like a native, you use more loan words instead of Japanese words. It doesn't really matter. To sound more like a native, the number one way to sound more like a native in Japanese is to just respond to everything in hai, hai, wakarimashita, hai, 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 wakarimashita, hai, yoroshiku onegai shimasu, hai, hai. Because that's how fucking Japanese people talk, okay? They don't actually say shit. They just bow their head repeatedly and they mumble, hai, hai, onegai shimasu, hai, wakarimashita. That's about it. Ohio Koi Samus Bald Sama Goon to see you life. You have no idea how often when I would tell kids in the 90s that I could speak Japanese, they would be like, Ohio! Growing up in the 90s was really something, man. This was a time when people were still do the Asian eye thing, where you like pull on your eyelids so you can get your fake slant eyes, and then go ching chong wong wong, bing chicka bang bang, and then everyone would be like, ha ha ha, it's so funny. Asian racism, the funniest joke we can think of. It was a innocent time in between blackface and general admission that you're not supposed to do that stuff, in which we kind of had free reign to do other racial jokes if they weren't blackface. You weren't allowed to do blackface even in the 90s, but you were definitely allowed to do slanty Asian eye jokes. Also, if a kid was eating sushi in the 90s, or if you even talked about sushi in the 90s, people would be like, ew, raw fish, yuck. I could have never imagined a future when I was growing up as a kid in the 90s where people were like, ew, raw fish, that's disgusting. I could have never imagined in 2025 we'd have 90% of the American population being going like, huh, this gas station sells sushi. Is there a possibility I get salmonella and fucking die? I guess it wouldn't be salmonella, it'd be like a different kind. That's like more poultry. No, it will be fine. I will eat this sushi that's been sitting around in this gas station for the last 2 weeks. Nothing bad will happen to me. Sushi is healthy. Turns out that people should have taken the raw fish, ooh, disgusting route a little harder. Also, it definitely doesn't help with all the overfishing if all the American nations want to eat sushi as well. First sushi I had was cheap sushi from Target. I'm sure Target sushi is just fine, guys. Nothing to be worried about there. Target is known for its quality of food. How do you feel about non-Japanese run sushi places? I don't like sushi in the first place, so I don't really care if Korean run. So the thing is, like every one of the Japanese restaurants in my area is run by Koreans, right? I don't give a fuck about the sushi. What I care about is I want like katsudon. I want like stuff like katsudon, like katsu curry, that kind of like non-sushi junk food. And none of these Korean-run Japanese places can make katsudon properly. I've tried, and all of them fuck it up. I don't know why it's so hard for them, but they just don't understand it. So yeah, I'm very much against Korean-run Japanese restaurants because they can't make katsudon. If I could find one that could make katsudon, I would support it. But they can't. There is one that does like Japanese-style ramen, but it has like some of its own like Korean twist on some of them. But it does have some ramen that tastes pretty close to Japanese ramen, so I feel like that's okay. Katsudon is too crispy? No, it's not. The whole point of katsudon is that you take the crispy katsudon and then you put the dashi like sauce on it with the egg so it becomes less crispy. You obviously haven't had traditional katsudon. And now there's also a crispy version that was recently became popular called tojinai katsudon, where tojiru is like what you do with the egg. So instead of putting the what do they do it? I guess they fully fry the egg. I actually have to look it up. I've never had it. Because I kind of like it. I do like crispy katsu, but I also want it, I kind of like the soft version as well. Here, let's look it up and see what it's like. Tojinai katsudon.
こんにちは、ハイジーです。というわけで本日もなんと来た来た来た。踊ってるよ。もう卵がフルフルと。
So this is like a fully cooked through yellow. Yeah, I guess they just like straight up mix the yolk and the white in this version, and then they cook it through. So that's not traditional katsudon right there. So you have, so the katsudon is still crispy in this version. This is like what, 600 grams of pork. So notice how the katsu and the egg are completely separate in this version. So this is the non-traditional katsudon. So the traditional katsudon tends to look like this. It is very kind of soft. The sauce and the egg are fully mixed in together, and usually the egg white and the egg yolk are separate, so it's like a soft boiled situation. It's very liquidy. Look how soft the katsu is. There's no crispiness to it. Anyways, katsu is my favorite version of Japanese junk food, so I'm pretty fucking picky about it. But the Korean place that I went to that would serve me katsudon, they put carrots in their katsudon. And carrots have a very strong, musky flavor to them, right? So there's no Japanese restaurant that would ever put carrots in katsudon. That is so Korean. Koreans love putting carrots in everything. I like crispy katsudon. If you truly like katsu crispy, you should just eat tonkatsu without the donburi style, because then you won't have the soft runny egg on it. If you just have normal tonkatsu, it's going to be fully crispy. And then you can eat it with the cabbage and stuff. Carrots have very strong flavor, so if you put it on the katsudon, it's going to taste more like carrots than anything else. A katsudon should only have egg, onions, white onions, and then the pork chop. That's it. See, the Japanese have figured out these recipes in and out. And then when you have these Korean owners of these Japanese restaurants, they're like, no, no, no. I have my own personal twist I'm gonna put on this, and it's like, actually your personal twist is fucking horrible. So I've given up. Had it last week with some omuraisu at a local place. I mean, omuraisu is something that you don't need to get it at your local restaurant, though. That's something you can make. I mean, omuraisu is literally just, you just need like a bunch of ketchup on your rice and then put it in an egg, and then you're basically done. I can't cook for shit, but I can make Japanese omuraisu. The only difficult part about omuraisu is wrapping the rice properly at the end. And that's just a presentation issue. If you chew it up, it's the same stuff, so... If you just want to get Japanese-style omuraisu, literally all you have to do is just cook your rice with a bit of ham or chicken with a bunch of ketchup. It's basically just ketchup flavored. In fact, you could just eat scrambled eggs with ketchup and a bit of rice, and you're getting the same experience as omuraisu. Green peas and carrots can instantly ruin any meal. I think you just need to understand when you apply the green peas and carrots. For example, when I make meatloaf, I always make it with peas. Meatloaf and green peas go together extremely well. Carrot too. Meatloaf is just a good combination with carrot and green peas and stuff like that. But there's a lot of things with I don't know, more sophisticated flavor palettes than meatloaf, that if you put a bunch of carrots on them, it's just gonna fuck up the flavoring. I prefer my stirred egg rice. We don't have the health standards here to guarantee that I won't get salmonella from the eggs. Yes, if there's one thing you know about Japanese people, it's that they love eating their raw eggs all the time. Japanese people really like eating slimy shit. So the raw egg on rice, we're just gonna eat raw egg because we can. That thing is like peak Japan in terms of like, we can do this because we have extremely good food safety standards that nobody else has. And we also like eating slimy shit all the time. It's something that you can't really do in any other country. It's just like, yeah, let's just pour the raw egg everywhere. Only Rocky eats that much raw eggs. Some of you come here from the country of Paella, yeah. I don't think any country, whether it's first world, third world, should do the amount of raw egg eating that the Japanese do. That's something that's pretty unique to Japan, and their insanely strict food health standards. I don't know if it's strict or it's just like they can trust farmers not to fuck people over by, you know, not selling week old eggs and not having the chickens like sitting in a pile of shit or whatever. Konbini food in Japan versus convenience food store food in US. The last time I was in Japan, I was checking out some of the upper class meat buns they had. They were selling like a 200 yen, quote unquote, like luxury meat bun. It was pretty good. Meanwhile, my mother found meat buns at the local store because I guess every grocery store has to have like fake Japanese food now. And the meat buns, I guess they kind of taste like Japanese konbini meat bun, but each one costs like $3.50 or something because it's like a pack of 2 for $7. And I'm just like, Mom, this is too expensive. You can't buy this shit. And she's like, yeah, it's fine. She makes a lot of money because, you know, she's old. So she doesn't give a fuck. But I'm just like, no, Mom, it's too expensive. It's a bad deal. You can't do that. You have to be cheap all the time like me. No. $2 in the US gets you the shits from 7-Eleven. Actually, it probably doesn't, because with $2 in America, you can't buy any raw cooked food. You just have to eat like the ho-hos or, you know, whatever pre-made packaged food they're selling. $2 in America will get you a moon pie, which is so full of preservatives and has so few raw materials in it. There's no chance you'll ever get food poisoning from it. It's just like 100% monosodium phosphate or whatever the fuck they're jamming into food. You can't even get like any real food from America at $2 at this point. Can you get the 27 spicy mini tacos from 7-Eleven for that much? I have not eaten anything at 7-Eleven in a long time. I know they have like taco-esque stuff all the time. I never eat the shit that's rotating on the grill at 7-Eleven or anything. Taquitos or whatever. I always eat Japanese convenience store food all the time when I'm there, and I never touch that stuff when I'm in America, which I think is the right decision on my part. Famichiki is so good. Yeah, konbini fried chicken. Let's go, boys. The dollar doesn't buy shit anymore because we had 60 trillion in debt to bail out wealthy people and bomb Muslims. Yeah, but we were adding shit ton of debt before we got inflation as well, though. I don't know what was different in the pandemic spending that was different from... I think it was just people who refusing to go back to work unless they were paid a large amount of money because they didn't want to die of infectious diseases, so then everyone's salary went up. Like, before COVID, I feel like the average salary was like $10 if we're going at like the we're hiring at McDonald's kind of shit. It definitely was like, you can start at $10 an hour, that range. And then after COVID, it's like, you can start at like $17 an hour. So I think that's the biggest change, personally, is that people just were like, I'm not going to work unless you give me a bunch of money. And once you raise that kind of wage, it's kind of hard to convince people that their wages should be going back down to $10 an hour, so... There's also, all the price of goods was raised, some of it inorganically, because, like, if a corporation can raise prices and everyone's like, ah, well, I'll buy that, they're going to raise prices, right? But you know that inflation is real because there's no situation in which a corporation is going to increase pay for their workers unless they absolutely have to, so... I feel like that's the right way to gauge inflation, just looking at it. Grocery stores in the USA decided that they could just triple the price of products and realized that they could just keep it there because of COVID. Yeah, a lot of the inflation in the United States is just... And grocery stores are even like the better part, but a lot of it is just corporations being like, oh, people will still pay for this even if we raise it to this point. Let's just keep it there. So that's especially true for shit like live events, like leisure activities. They're like, oh wow, people are willing to pay insane amounts for this luxury activity. Like, hasn't the cost of Disneyland, for example, gone up by like 300% since 2019 or something? Disney was just like, oh, we can just rape our customers in the ass and they'll thank us for it. Cost of going to Disneyland increase over the last decade. Disneyland ticket prices has increased 114%. That's a lot, 114% in 10 years. Corporate people are the worst in that aspect. Life is just numbers for them. The problem is that America has established a supply-side economic system, so there isn't any sort of downward pressure on prices ever. The thing in Japan is that people actually compete with prices against each other, because there's like still a strong consumer culture where people will be like, oh, I'll just go to this place because it's cheaper. Americans don't fucking do that, it seems, you know? Disney is essentially a monopoly after all. Yeah, monopoly on stupid fucking Disney adults and their retarded little hobby. You know what? I'm glad Disney is doing what it does. Disney adults don't deserve to have money in the first place. If they weren't wasting it on Disney, they'd just be wasting it on something else. By keeping them effectively broke, we're probably saving society from having like a bunch of other gambling addicts or meth heads or something. They should be deprived of their livelihood by Disney. What do you mean you won't buy more expensive item? What are you, poor? So there was a distinct period in Japan, I can't remember, it was like 2004, 2005 or something, where Japan was one of the only countries in the world in like the modern developed economy that was where they were actually having deflation. And you could actually track what was going on in deflation by the cost of gyudon, the beef bowl chains. So like one of the beef bowl chains were like, okay, we'll give you the standard beef bowl chain for like 100 or like 500 yen or something like that. And then the next beef bowl chain was like, oh yeah, we'll set our price for the standard bowl at like 280 yen. And they just kept on trying to outdo each other to the bottom, which isn't actually a good thing from the economist perspective. Apparently it's like, you know, deflation is really bad, but it's really interesting because, you know, we haven't seen that shit happen in any other country in the modern economy. Japan is a special country in that way. People are just like, oh, that gyudon chain is 5 yen cheaper than the other one. I'll go to the cheap, slightly, just tiny bit cheaper location. I mean, that only would happen if with a Japanese mentality where Japanese like are constantly saving their money and stuff. Drugs and gambling is way cooler though. It's probably cheaper than going to Disney multiple times as well. At least with gambling, there's a possibility that you earn your money back. We had our CEO come by recently. He was whining about Japanese saving. I bet he was. Japanese are literally like, oh, I don't want to be fucking broke. I will not spend money this month because I want to save 30% of my paycheck. And the corporate world is like, no, you can't do that, no! Except it's not that way with Japanese corporations, because Japanese corporations also are literally like, we have a lot of cash reserves this year. We should just stockpile our money for a time in which we're not doing as well. That's a good idea. All the gamer people who are like, the Nintendo Switch 2 isn't selling well enough, which it isn't, it's selling very well. But all the people who are doom posting about Nintendo going out of business at whatever point were always fucking delusional because they don't know how much just like straight up cash reserves Nintendo has. That's ignoring the part that like Sony was in the red for like years and years and years and didn't fucking make a difference because, you know, big corporations are fucking, you know, invincible. But Nintendo wasn't even in that situation because they always had cash reserves. Do Japanese people not use air conditioners to save money, or is that a rare thing? It's a real thing. You have to convince old people in Japan that they're gonna die if they don't turn on the air conditioner because it's... We can actually check the temperature. Tokyo weather. It's 84 degrees with 85% humidity in Tokyo, Japan right now. Oh, that's not that bad. It's 6 a.m. Today, it will be a high of 99 degrees Fahrenheit. This is with, like, the, you know, fucking 90% humidity as well. It's the same temperature as Las Vegas, except that it's wet. It's a wet heat. Just fucking kill me. I say I want to go to Japan, but I don't want to go to fucking Tokyo, that's for sure. I'm gonna go as far north as possible. We're gonna go to the tip of Hokkaido or something. Chinese Insta thoughts are so touched up they look like AI. This is true. There's really no difference between real people and AI, considering how many filters everybody has on. Photoshopped Insta thoughts was the AI before AI was a thing. And then even before we had Photoshop and anything, women were still trying to hide what they look like using as much makeup as possible, so... If there's one thing you can't convince a woman to do is show the world how her face actually looks like. That is the most horrible thing that you can imagine as a woman. is having people see you in your original state without makeup on, without photo filters and AI filters on, without you taking the photo of yourself while you're looking downward so that you're at your most attractive angle. How long did it take you to become sustainable off of art? Do you remember? I'm not actually sustainable off of art right now because I'm not doing commissions. Also, I live in my mother's house, so my sustainability is much, much lower than a person who is actually paying rent. I don't know. If you're somewhat popular and you do commissions, I think you can become sustainable very quickly. If you want to be sustainable only off Patreon bucks, it might be more difficult. But they sort of go together congruently, right? Because if you're popular on Patreon and you're getting Patreon bucks, people are willing to pay more for commissions. Because it's a status symbol to get commission from this popular author or something, I don't know. Hey, what's up? Weather Report? Is this a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure reference? I only read JoJo's Part 6 while I was standing in a Japanese bookstore. And when they started talking about how Weather Report was changing the, what was it? The density of oxygen in the air. And that's why everyone was seeing snails and they were hallucinating about snails because of this. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, Araki? That makes no sense. Are you fucking tripping, dog? You're good enough to make it as a mangaka? Yes, but you don't make it as a mangaka until you make it as a mangaka. And part of being a mangaka means drawing fast, which I'm not doing right now. I'm drawing slowly. So I have to get used to drawing fast, and then I can make it as a mangaka. BB would have to do months of work in weeks, though, if he was published. Yeah, so basically... So the pace that I'm drawing at right now, it seems super slow, but it's not actually that abnormal for people who are preparing to become a serialized mangaka. If you pay attention to the speed at which people shit out the yomikiri, the one-shots, before they get a series, they publish at a pretty similar speed at what I'm drawing at right now. There's probably ones that don't get published in between, but without assistance and stuff like that, and without basically a publisher kicking their ass to draw 24/7, pretty much everybody works at a similar speed as me, unless they're like one of the psychos that just truly love drawing non-stop. What causes mangaka to publish and draw faster isn't like just skill, it's basically they're in a desperation mode. Pretty much every single mangaka who's worked under deadline will tell you that they don't want to live that life. Especially if it's weekly stuff, so they're forcing themselves to smash it out like that. It's always one hit away from making big merch bucks. So apparently in the current Japanese publishing stage, there's a lot of people who aren't hitting the big hit, but they're still making quite a lot of money. Because now manga has become a global readership, so it's kind of like Spotify or like online music and stuff, right? It's like you might have lost a lot to the digital economy, but you also have gained a lot, so it's way easier for these like low-tier artists to get all this publishing money. So if making it is just surviving, it's not that hard to survive anymore. Also, you don't have to be... like shitting out 16 pages a week like we all think about when we think about mangaka. because now a lot of stuff is published digitally, and the publishing companies are like, yeah, it's fine. The reason why they had that schedule was because they wanted to publish a magazine, and now that a lot of stuff isn't in magazines and instead is in just online environments. That's if there was the only way for me to become a professional mangaka was to be a weekly mangaka and die at 60 or die at 50, then I wouldn't be trying to become mangaka. The reason why I'm like, okay, I can try and make this leap is because I know that it's the work environment has changed a little. So I wouldn't be trying to do this if I didn't know that there was easier places to do it than weekly Shonen Jump and stuff. You can be Togashi's wife, just win. You can be Togashi, just win. Just get married to, you know, your extremely rich and successful wife. Do you peg Muratai as a love to draw a psycho? Considering that he's redrawn the same 140 pages or so twice in the past year and a half for One Punch Man, yeah, I'm gonna say so. The funny thing is there's lots of manga psychos in the manga publishing industry, but none of them are even close to the level of psychosis that the GOAT Tezuka Osamu had. So it's all just like, everyone's just fighting for a runner-up. None of that shit even comes close. Tezuka Osamu was like drawing manga on the fucking toilet and stuff, apparently, so... Tezuka Osamu was sleeping under his desk, like, in the year before he died, when he was in his 60s. Isn't Togashi friends, as the kids would say, Diddy Blood? There are no Diddy Bloods in the manga publishing world. Mangaka don't get to have cool freak-out parties like Diddy. They're only allowed to sit and draw at home forever until they die. Fuck Tezuka Osamu. All my homies hate this guy who asked for that shit. Get a hobby, poser. LMAO. He seems to be having fun once Gash Bell was done. Part of the reason is because he ditched his publishing company. So Shonen Sunday, which was publishing Gash Bell, actually lost some of the original pages, and there's an online rumor that happened because one of his editors was just straight up giving pages to like one of the cabaret club girls to impress her or some shit like that. Anyways, his publishing company was extremely untrustworthy, and he's done better for himself since then. And he has his rights to his own manga, so he can fuck off and do as he pleases. And he probably has a better schedule now. Now Diddy's free, you can hide in my basement, white boy. I love the revolving door kind of storytelling that came from their tight schedules like Vampire Rosario Air Gear during Battle Shonen 180s. What are you talking about? They're still doing that. As soon as any series in a weekly format starts to lose popularity, the editors are like, what can we do to make this popular? Let's do some fighting. Let's have them fight. That'll add some tension to the plot. That hasn't changed at all. They're still gonna do that. doing dumb shit, trying to impress cabaret club girls. Sounds like your average Japanese office worker. Part of the problem was the editors at Shonen Sunday apparently weren't just average office workers. They were pretty successful people that to enter the publishing world. So there would be people who had graduated from like Tokyo University and stuff, and it's like, yeah, I'm going to a publisher, and then they get assigned to a manga magazine, and they're like, fuck this, I'm better than this. So they had like a real bad attitude toward the people who are basically making money for them, is what I've been told. So I have the option of sending my manuscripts to a lot of different locations, but I definitely won't be sending them to Sunday under any circumstances. There's just too much bad rumors about it. And even if there isn't that type of horrific stuff, like they're stealing my manga pages or some shit, if you look at Shonen Sunday, they're still doing Detective Conan and Takashi Rumiko, and they haven't actually developed any new talent, so they're kind of a fucking dying organization. The audacity to make it monthly. See, this is why you wonder why mangaka die at 60. Because you're like, why isn't he providing me with 16 pages a week, 20 pages a week, forever? It's not audacity to make a manga in any format monthly. That shit is normal. That's a normal work schedule. It's still a shit ton of work to publish something monthly. The weekly publishing schedule is taking the most talented people who can draw the fastest, that love manga more than anybody. You take the most talented people on the planet and you're grinding them to dust in order to publish at that speed. It would be like, what the fuck is wrong with these professional athletes? Why aren't these NFL players playing a game every day? What do you mean they've all have concussions? I want to watch football every day, bitch. Well, we don't do that now, do we? Although, you could say that the current NFL, like, 18-game or 20-game schedule, whatever the fuck, is basically the equivalent of that. It's basically an unsustainable schedule, and the people who can sustain it either are extremely good at using their assistants, are vampires like Araki, and even Araki has stopped doing the weekly schedule, obviously. Or they're basically killing themselves. And that's basically what Oda is doing. Oda is losing his eyesight, he has gout. All the information that comes out is saying that basically he's about to die because he's drawing too much One Piece. He needs to stop redrawing chapters. Yeah, what he really needs is, he needs editors to give him perspective and tell him that you shouldn't be doing this or you should be doing that. I think there's just a lot of problems that happen when mangaka become untouchable and editors can't tell them no. Whether it's like if the mangaka wants to overwork themselves and redraw stuff, or if they have like an idea that they think is really good that's clearly not a good idea, like Kishimoto did with Samurai 8 and stuff like that. When the editor starts to lose power and the mangaka has too much veto power, that tends to lend itself to bad situations. The opposite is probably more true in situations where editors thought they were giving the mangaka a good idea and it ended up being a horrible idea. But we can't really tell which one of those, how often that happens, because it just gets blamed on the mangaka. But there are clear situations in which a mangaka was super successful in his previous series, and then the editors can't say no to him, and they glaze him too hard, and then as a result, you get a bad series after that. Wrong guy, ignore me. No, Oda is redrawing stuff as well. He's not redrawing entire chapters, but pretty much most mangaka redraw parts of what they already drew when they publish the tankobon. Like, they redraw areas. They're like, oh, I don't like this scene. I don't like this. Oh, I made a mistake. This will affect the long-term plot. So Oda might not be as bad as Murata redrawing the entire, like, 140 chapters, but he's definitely redrawing shit. Part of the reason why they have to take these long breaks from publishing new chapters is because they're drawing new content for the books. I wonder how much longer Murata will last. Murata will last plenty fine. He takes plenty of rest. He's fine. If we're going by mangaka most likely to die soon, it's the Made in Abyss author, who is famous for loving ramen, and he's posted that his, like, blood, I don't know, blood pressure was insanely high. Let's actually look him up. I forgot what his name was. Oh, Tsukushi Akihito. Let's see if his Wikipedia says anything about his blood pressure. No. Copy. Yeah, if you Google Tsukushi Akihito in the Japanese Google, it goes from the top. The search results are Tsukushi Akihito Made in Abyss, Tsukushi Akihito sick, Tsukushi Akihito blood pressure. Those are the top two search results besides the name of his manga. So everyone's waiting for him to die, basically. Here's the his Twitter from back in the day. He's saying, it's not very good. The high of his blood pressure is 218. The low is 121. For those of you who know blood pressure numbers, these are not good numbers. This is a bad number. But apparently he posted recently saying that his blood pressure is back to normal, so I think people have, the doctors have stepped in. How bad is that? It's bad enough that he needs to stop eating ramen. He also, like, tweets about how he likes eating, like, tonkotsu ramen and stuff like that on Twitter, so I'm pretty sure the doctor's like, you can't eat ramen anymore. I was just checking and the internet said that his blood pressure spiked because he wasn't drawing children. The guy is like a gachi loli shotakon, so if he's not allowed to uo every day, and he gets to a part of the story where he doesn't get to draw children being murdered and stuff like that. His blood pressure spikes apparently, but apparently after he went to the hospital and he got the chance to go back to drawing young children, it went back down or something, so I don't know. Apparently he's some kind of lolicon fairy or something, is what the Japanese internet is saying. Have you read any of the Auteur of Frame? Really like the Red Hood manga they made previously. So I read the first 3 chapters of new Jump series because they're posted for free on the online Jump website, and then I don't read it after that. I only monitor to see if it gets canceled or not. Usual action, but it feels bland and we are moving too fast again. It might get canceled. So, I don't have any sort of confidence in that author, even though I didn't read the Red Riding Hood manga, because I know from internet reviews of the Red Riding Hood manga that he ended that manga with breaking the fourth wall and making it so everything was happening in the manga was happening in like a fictional storybook setting or something, like the characters learn that they're in a story or some shit like that. And apparently this was what the author actually wanted to write. He wanted to do a fourth wall breaking ending as the big reveal. And I was just like, okay, if you actually want to break the fourth wall and you're not making like the Deadpool movie, I have no confidence in you as a writer that you're not going to fuck up. Breaking the fourth wall is only okay if you're doing a comedic manga, and then it's only okay if you're doing it in like for a very short punchline. You cannot do that shit in story manga. That is like the dumbest fucking idea. So anybody who's doing that, I expect your manga to get canceled for one way or the other. If you thought that was a good idea, then I don't think you have any kind of ability to write good storytelling. Breaking the fourth wall might be okay in very specific situations, but in 2025 it's definitely not okay in 99.9% of stories, so yeah, count me out on that one. Do you have any advice on finding an art style? If you have one artist or one or two artists you really like, just copy them and try and draw like them, and whatever elements of your art style remain even when you're trying to copy an artist you like, those are probably the elements of your art style. There are some manga assistants that are forced to draw in a author's art style for so long that it really does look like that author's art style, and they don't have their own art style. But you're probably not going to be good enough to worry about that happening, so I wouldn't worry too much. You only break the fourth wall for joke or in really meta esoteric way. So among the recent manga series that got canceled, or axed, I guess is the term we use in English, in Shonen Jump, there were multiple ones that broke the fourth wall. There is the Red Riding Hood one that ended with it breaking the fourth wall. And then there was also one called Time Paradox Ghost Rider, which is a pretty cool title. But then everyone pointed out that he wasn't a ghost writer, he was just like stealing somebody else, he was just plagiarizing, and the story was the author was plagiarizing a manga that was being sent to him by the future. But that also ended with breaking the fourth wall, so I don't know. I don't know what it is about these people who think that breaking the fourth wall is cool, but it's a bad idea. It's only a good idea if you're like doing a like a stage play that's an allegory and you want to talk to the audience or some shit like that. The whole point of establishing fiction and verisimilitude is to not break the fourth wall. So unless you're like Deadpool and your entire joke is breaking the fourth wall and you don't want to be taken seriously, that can't be your primary, that can't be your big reveal. My god. Now, I just realized it's all because of Evangelion, isn't it? It's because Anno fucked this entire generation by the Evangelion TV show ending breaking the fourth wall. He's done irreparable damage to people's psyches by doing that. I just finally realized that's where it's coming from. Spoilers, don't worry. It's not even the spoilers for the ending. It's not even end of Evangelion. It's the end of the TV series part of Evangelion. Although I guess it's the end of the movie as well. The remake movies. That also breaks the fourth wall at the end. Kind of. You only get to do that shit if you're on no. I don't remember fourth wall breaking. In Evangelion the TV show, or was it the TV show or is it the audience? I can't remember actually where it was. There's one part where he literally shows video of the people in the theater watching his movie. He's like, this is footage of you. You are watching my movie right now. I was like, oh fuck. Doesn't Eva end with history looping? No, you're thinking of something else. You're confusing Eva with something else. I don't know what you're convincing it with. Eva ends with the director in real life taking his depression medication and finding a big titty mangaka waifu who loves and respects him, thus curing his depression. And then Shinji finds a big titty waifu as well, and everybody lives happily ever after because it turns out the only thing we needed to do in the first place was to take our depression medication and find a big titty waifu. If we were all so lucky. There's a part of the Evil Within 2 where the MC and another guy look right into the camera and they literally say there's Evil Within 2. I mean, video games I think should be allowed to get away with more because the verisimilitude of video games is way weaker than stuff like anime or manga because you have to be controlling it at all times. Anyways, it's still just a one-shot joke, right? You can't be like... What I'm saying is you can't be like the big reveal of our story is like all the characters are in a fictional story and they know about it. This is the #1 reason why I don't like Assassin's Creed, even before Ubisoft shit the bed. Is because having the entire Assassin's Creed franchise be all about, like, hey, you're in a historical situation, right? You're in medieval, you know, Middle East, whatever, but you're actually in the, what was it called? The, what was it? The omnibus? The bussy machine? It's basically like saying, hey, remember, you're playing a video game right now. Isn't it cool how you're playing a video game? All that stuff you're doing. The animus, yeah, the anibussy. You might think that you're doing this cool stuff in a historical setting, but actually, you're just playing this video game. Don't you like being reminded of that all the time? Isn't that cool? It's like, no! I don't want to be reminded about that. That fucking sucks. I'm already playing a video game, and now you're saying I'm playing a video game in a video game. Shut the fuck up. That was a horrible writing, and it was so fucking stupid, and they never did anything with that. They're like, no, this will be, we'll have a future version of Assassin's Creed. It's like, no, you won't. I'm pretty sure the Bussy machine is something very different. If only the Animus was the Bussy machine. One may say that Assassin's Creed Shadows was in fact the Bussy machine, considering you could have like gay relationships as Yasuke. Oda Nobunaga was basically a Bussy machine. For those of you who don't know who Mori Ranmaru was, he's the hot twink who is always standing next to Nobunaga. He was one of his retainers, and I think it's pretty much agreed upon by every single person who knows anything about history that he was there for the Bussy, to provide Bussy in times of need. Japanese history is like that. Hideyoshi, the guy who came after Oda Nobunaga, united Japan. He liked the pussy, not the Bussy. He liked women's vaginas so much, people were concerned about his well-being because nobody else liked vaginas as much as he did. They were like, are you sure you don't want to be getting some of the Bussy instead? And he was like, no, I'll take the female. They're like, oh no, I hope he's okay. Japanese monks always praise purity of BL. Yeah. It's called Shudo. I wonder how they... I don't know how they pronounce it in English. Shudo... Is it Shudo? Shudo? Wait, am I getting it wrong? I thought it was Shu... Maybe I'm misremembering the term for it. It's been a while since I went deep into the Bussy rabbit hole. Yeah, I need to continue drawing instead of trying to figure out what the correct term for that was. I like when the fourth wall is broken in a Toon Forcey way. It's okay if it's like Roadrunner or some shit like that. Anything else, you can't have a serious manga and be like, it's all a story or something like that. Metaphor Riff Fantasio starts with a self-insert fourth wall break. You're supposed to name someone in the past after yourself. Isn't that just, Okay, that's... See, this is why I'm saying it's not as big a deal in video games as it is in other media. Because you have to have some input as a person in video game at some point, so you basically have to break the fourth wall. I mean, the truly jarring fourth wall breaks in video games is more like when Kojima is like, Raiden, turn off the PlayStation, you know? But like naming a character after your girlfriend and stuff or whatever, I don't think that really counts in the broader scheme of video game fourth wall breaking tradition. I hate it when there's wind hitting my curtains. It sounds like people flapping away. That's the sound of the curtains being plapped by the wind. They're gonna have a curtain baby soon. In the case of Metaphor, you are specifically someone separate the game character. Yeah. Well, that's another reason why I don't want to play it. I don't really feel like playing fourth wall breaking content. Not interested, thank you very much. Even the curtains are having sex, but not you. While you're single, these curtains are having mind-blowing fuck sessions. Find single dates now. Fourth wall breaks works when the viewer is treated as an observer from another world. In general, you just shouldn't do it. It's a very touchy thing. Just don't do it, people. You should only do it if you're supremely confident, and I guess these authors were, but you just, as a general rule, just don't do it. Just don't do it. Will you play the horse game? No, I will not play the horse game. I will never play any gacha, guys. Ever. Any game with any kind of gacha system, I will never ever play it. That simple. That goes for things that aren't gacha as well. Like, I'm not going to gamble. Anything in which... Well, I guess gambling is slightly different. So anything in which... I want a specific thing, and the economy is based on not giving me that specific thing, I won't play it. I will play actual gacha machines, like the toy machines, because when I roll a gacha machine in that case, I usually buy it from a gacha machine in which I'm not trying to collect all the items, and I don't care which one of the items I get. I only buy those if I like every single variety of gacha they have in there. So that's slightly different. But video games, I will never play any gacha video game ever. I tried playing Zenless Zone Zero, and I was somewhat enjoying it. And then I got to the section where they're like, hey, do you want to continue playing? You want that character? Well, it's time to start rolling. And I was like, I have lost all motivation. I no longer care. Don't care. I also tried playing Grand Blue Fantasy. With my one SS rank roll, I got the Gyaru. I guess there's multiple Gyaru at this point. The Gyaru cat. If I search for Grand Blue Fantasy Gyaru, will she show up? Grand Blue Fantasy Gyaru cat. No, not that cat, you stupid fucker. Oh, it's Chloe. Yeah, I got the fucking Chloe. For my first pull. This one. It could not be more of a Gyaru if they tried with the fucking loose socks. But here's the thing, if I want access to this character, I don't have to roll for her, even though I got her. I can just look up the fucking image on Google image search, and I have the equivalent experience. Right? I guess people who play gacha don't feel that way, but I feel that way. For me, this image that I can just download from my fucking computer is just as valuable as the image I rolled $10,000 for within the gacha system, so... FGO bros seething, LOL. I feel like FGO people are... They've been gambling for so long. I don't know about the Western ones, but the Japanese ones are some of the more well-adjusted, if that's even possible, of the type of gacha players. Like, they've come to terms with the fact that they're wasting all their money on their waifus. Who do you think are the most deranged gacha players? I mean, it's kind of hard to compete, right? Because there's so many varieties. There's so many options. Limbus Company fans. Was Limbus Company a gacha? I thought it was... I thought you bought Limbus Company. I'm not really following that shit. I can't stand the paranormal monster hunting mangas like Jujutsu Kaisen, Tougen, Aniki, Blue Exorcist. It's like isekai content farm garbage and I can't stop reading. Well, I have some bad news for you. They aren't going away anytime soon. The problem is that shonen manga, I know this is hard to understand, is for shonen, theoretically. It's not for Oji-san, who's still reading shonen manga even after he's graduated from high school. Even though if that's the way it's turned out. So it's kind of hard to argue with like stuff that are like, you're a monster hunter going to a elite school, blah blah blah. And I'm like, wait, I can't sympathize with these characters. I don't go to high school anymore. This is all so stupid. Because theoretically this manga is supposed to be for 16-year-olds who are still going to school or whatever, even if it's mainly read by elder Japanese women at this point. At least in theory, that's supposed to be still supposed to be the audience. So, God, I can't draw fucking ears. God damn it. I can't figure out when the ear is sufficiently at an angle in which I have to draw it slightly differently instead of from the side. Here we go. That's good enough. You're Oji-san after high school? Damn. I mean, in terms of like complaining about high school settings, you kind of are. Think about this. What shonen manga are set in a college? I can't think of any. For one thing, not all Japanese people go to college. But you're supposed to have aged out. You're supposed to be in seinen or young jump or whatever if you want to get to college. Draw too much details in an ear, it kind of looks creepy as well, but I don't want to have no details. It's a weird balance. Hey, Barley on Toast, thanks for the sub. I appreciate the support. Is the horse game actually good? Apparently the horse game is actually good during the initial, like, 30 hours in which you play it. And then once you start to get to the subsequent grinding parts of it, it becomes a horrific experience, is what I've been told. That's what everyone was saying in Japan, is that, like, it's a really nice, fun game in the beginning, but then once you get into the monetization aspects of it long term, it just becomes insanely grindy and painful. So I guess my recommendation would be to just play it for a little bit and then drop it. And don't take it too seriously, but gacha losers can't understand that concept, so. Just play Monster Rancher instead, very similar gameplay. Yes, but Monster Rancher only has 4 different types of characters I can masturbate to, whereas with Uma Musume I can masturbate to all the characters. Unless I'm going to be jacking off to a giant concrete block or a huge worm or something like that. I can't remember all the different types of monsters there are in Monster Rancher. See, kids nowadays won't understand the joy of playing Monster Rancher, where part of the experience is finding the CDs in your household and reading them into your PlayStation so you can get, like, the cool monsters or whatever the fuck. I wouldn't know that either because I never played Monster Rancher back in the day, but that's definitely the coolest part of the mechanic, right? Is, like, seeing what this CD will give you. You have your Limp Bizkit CD in 2002 or whatever, and it also gives you a cool monster or something. Why even have monsters if they're not girls? Spoken like a true gacha player right there. Hey guys, I have a new idea for a gacha. What if this thing that exists was also a cute girl? How about that for a gacha idea? You think that will sell well? If gacha was something that was being made by America, there'd probably be like a NASCAR gacha by now. All the NASCAR drivers would be Gijinka made into little girls and be like, this is my Dale Earnhardt. And then all the rednecks would play and buy it. Super masculine or artistic interest plus girls equals profit. Yeah, there's the gacha version of that combo. It's masculine interest plus girls. You make that into girls, the masculine interest into girls. And then there's the K-On anime version of that where you have masculine interest and instead of a dirty fucking nerd incel doing it, you have a group of 4 cute girls doing it instead. And then you have a popular anime. Those are the two combos. It's like male interest, I sleep. Male interest except girls. Anime otaku must give all their money. I actually was reading a Japanese internet thread about this, and people were listing male hobbies that hasn't gotten the cute girls doing this male hobby treatment, like anime and manga versions of that, and people were trying to think of different ideas that you could have, and literally every single thing that people could think of as a male hobby basically existed. Had already been done with cute girls, the cute girl version of it. So Japan has really mined that one to its the extreme at this point. Pretty much anything you can think of has already been done. I think putting gambling in anything is a winning formula. If you can get the people to start playing it, then they get addicted, so it's a winning formula. The question is, how do you get them in the first place? Because they're not going to leave, right? You have to spend money on your customer acquisition, and you have to make sure that they come to your casino instead of a different casino. This is why there's a FanDuel ad in every single sports commercial. They're also, FanDuel is sponsoring shit. Because they have to use all of their money getting the customer base and make sure they don't go to other gambling locations. What would happen with train autism plus girls? You mean not trains, but like train autists? Look, I don't really, I don't know the specifics about this because these are things I try and avoid as hard as possible. There was the foreign exchange cute girl manga. There's a cute girl manga for everything, guys, literally. Train photographer autist plus girls. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the best way is making fun of the mentally handicapped. It's a little mean-spirited, guys. Alright guys, I am going to end the stream here because I am burning up in my fucking steamy hot room. So I'm going to call it quits here so I don't die of heat stroke. See you around guys, good night. I will continue grinding as hard as I can and not spend a lot of time prompting shitty AI porn because I'm done with that phase. See you around guys, good night.